All right, here we go. Our first flip video. So exciting here. I'm stoked. Aren't you? I can see it in your faces. Not really, but I will see in your faces here pretty soon. So let's talk about adding and subtracting fractions. All right. This is something that you've done before. Okay. Obviously, in algebra and pre-algebra and algebra 2, what have you. But let's review it. Okay. It's an important tool to review. We're going to do a lot with fractions in this course. At least for a little bit. I know some of us might have a little bit of, we may not like fractions too much. I get that, but we'll be all right. We got a battle. So let's think about this. In order to add or subtract fractions, well, what do we need? Well, in order to add or subtract fractions, we need a common. And I'm going to do my best with this. It's kind of hard to write on this thing. Denominator. Denominator. All right, denominator is right here. If you can't really read my handwriting, sorry. If we do not have and I'm going to abbreviate that CD for common denominator, then we must multiply. The numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, that's a number symbol if you can't tell. All right, I'll erase that and do a little bit better here for you. Sometimes my handwriting is not the best, so if at any point you're confused on what something says, just let me know and I'll do my best to help you out there. Okay, next page. So let's try it. Perform the indicated operations. So for the first one, 2 7s plus 3 7s. Well, they have a common denominator, so I can just add the numbers across the top. That becomes 5 over the numerator changes. The denominator does not. Okay, I keep the denominator the same. I'm going to change this one. I'm going to change this one down here. 1/3 or 1/5 minus 3/5. 1/5 minus 3/5. Well, I know I still have a common denominator here, 5 and 5. That means they're the same. So I just subtract across the top. 1 minus 3 gives me -2. And yes, we can have negative numbers. Negative numbers are legit. Those are numbers too. Wow. You're probably thinking to me, holy buckets, this is so easy. Maybe, I don't know. How about this one? Uh-oh, holy buckets. We got a 1/2 plus a 1/3. Holy cow. I'm going to switch it up because we're going to have to do something here. All right. Well, it looks like we do not have a common denominator here. So that means I'm going to have to do what? Let's check. Oh, I'm going to have to multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Well, and what I mean by that, it's going to go fraction by fraction. So I may not multiply this fraction, the 1/2, by the same as the 1/3. Okay. What I want to figure out is, all right, when finding a common denominator, do 2 and 3 go into a number? All right. Are they factors of the same number? Okay. If all else fails, I can just, well, they do, it's 6. But if all else fails and I can't think of the number, I can just multiply the first fraction by the denominator of the second. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3 here and by 3 there, and then multiply my second fraction by the denominator of the first, like that. Okay. I have to use that little symbol because apparently I can't do there it is, like the dot symbol. It's pretty tough with this thing. So if I multiply 1 times 3, I get the 3. Go back to green. 3 over 6 plus 2 times 1 is just 2 over 6. Oh, look at that. We have our common denominator to give us 5 over 6. Holy buckets. Wow. So fun. Oh, this is a little bit more challenging-ish. Okay. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this again to you, and I'm going to change this one to subtraction. All right. We're going to make that subtraction again. Sorry for doing that to you again, but we have to subtract numbers too. All right. Wouldn't it be fair? What I'm going to have you do here, all right, I'm going to have you pause. All right, I want you to try this one on your own. Remember what we talked about here. Okay. Think about the factors. All right. Think about what 3 and 4 both go into. Okay. Or if all else fails, what did I say to do here? All right, so what I want you to do, pause the video now. Okay, I'm back, I guess. Okay, this doesn't really give you a countdown. So I chose to multiply the first fraction by 4, and my second fraction, top about my numerator denominator, by 3. So I got 2 times 4 gave me 8, 3 times 4 gave me down here. 3 times 3 gave me 9, 4 times 3 gave me well. Common denominator now, remember the denominator does not change, and I do 8 minus. Some of us, some of us maybe have done this in the past when dealing with negative numbers, like plus negative and plus negative. If you're one of those people, that's fine. If you like to do it that way, just make sure when you're adding and subtracting fractions that you're putting the negative in the numerator. Okay, so that I'm adding a negative 9 and not thinking about adding a negative 12, because then you're going to confuse yourself a little bit. Whoops. All right, let's try a word problem. So this question says, it's a two-parter. At a high school, 1/3 of the freshmen start in Essentials of Algebra, and 1/5 of the freshmen start in Algebra. What fraction of the freshman class start in one of these two algebra courses? Well, if I have 1/3 and 1/5 of the classes, then what am I going to have to do with that 1/3 and 1/5? I'm going to have to combine them. So what am I really doing? I'm doing 1/3 plus 1/5. Uh-oh, holy buckets. I got a problem. Our denominators are not the same. Wow. Okay, so since our denominators are not common, I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 5. And I'm going to multiply my second fraction by 3. So I get 1 times 5 gives me 5. Over 5 times 3 gives me 15. Plus, holy buckets, there it is. Plus, holy cow, this is getting used to it. 3 times 1 gives me 3. Over 15. So what fraction of the freshman class? About 8/15. That's the first part. The second part says the nearest whole percent. What part of the freshman class does this represent? I'm going to do that on the next page so I can write all over it. All right. So what you want to do for that part, okay, it's a little bit weirder. It's a little weird here for the second part of the question. Not sorry about that. So I can take what I'm going to want to do here is I got the 8/15. Okay. Now I know the first thing I want to do is think about creating an equivalent fraction. Is there a number I can multiply to 15 to get to 100? Because remember, percents are out of 100. Unfortunately, if I do 100 divided by 15, I'm not going to get a whole number. So I can't do that. All right. So I can't scale this fraction. That's what that process is called. It's called scaling. So I can't scale this fraction to find an equivalent one. So what I'm going to have to do, okay, is to just divide. All I'm going to have to do, because remember, a fraction bar is a division bar. So I'm just going to do 8, and some of you may have done this already, divided by 15. Okay, well, that gave me, what did I get? It's about I got 0.53, and I think the 3 is repeating there. Okay, well, remember, percents are out of 100. If I have a decimal and I want to write it as a percent, I multiply it by 100, and I should get, about 53, and then it's 0.3. The 3 is repeating percent. Okay, there's 2 and 1. There's a little application problem for you. All right, that was fun. Wow, holy buckets. All right, why don't you go ahead and head back to class. Hopefully that helped. If you have any questions, let me know.